What's going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of The Hustle Interview. I am your host, Obafemi Samuel, and today, the first question I want to ask you is this. Have you seen any of the Nollywood movies that have caught your eye recently? Let me give you an example. Something like Sugar Rush, King of Boys, my personal favorite. No bad comments. Have you seen any of those films? Yeah, well, today we're going to be having the lead colorist on those three movies and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're going to be welcoming the one and only Mr. Babola himself. Welcome. Thank you very much for accepting to do this. What, led you into color grading?
Thank you. Color grading and me, I call myself an accidental colorist.
Accident.
Borrowing the words of El-Rufai's book, Accidental Public Servant.
Of course.
So I call myself an accidental colorist because I have a background in architecture.
Oh.
I co-founded a company that was into digital marketing, social media management, and then we transitioned into creating an app that became part of the entertainment industry, the Afri-Nollywood app, and then transitioned into being creative director in the company. And what I was doing is managing the entire creative workflow that happens in that system. So in 2013, we did a workshop with producers, directors, and one of the feedbacks we got was that color grading was an issue in the industry. We were looking to create a creative hub where those kind of things or issues in the industry can be fixed. And when we got that feedback, we asked them why is color grading an issue? You guys edit. Why is color grading an issue? It's not the software. And they were like, basically it's expensive. And the reason we felt most said it was expensive was because the software, Davinci Resolve, then was $1,000. But the hardware, the console, was $30,000. So I guess most people felt you couldn't use the software without the hardware, and so they felt it was expensive. So as a business, we invested in the software and the hardware, and then we got tutorials. We had two in-house editors. Got tutorials for them from Warren Eagle, and asked them to watch the tutorials and use it to learn the software.
That's Davinci Resolve.
Yeah.
At this time, it was what version?
Version 10.
Oh my god.
So version 10.
Wow.
The first software we bought was version 10, then we bought two more because we had 3 workstations.
Okay.
And those were version 11. So 1 year passed and we're like, okay, you guys should be able to do magic by now. You've been with this software and the tutorial. And they really weren't doing magic. So I, who was the head of the team, the creative team, decided that, okay, I'm living upstairs, I'm coming downstairs, coming to the studio. I said, it's a software. I have a background in architecture, I do graphics, I have knowledge of color and light. So let me see what I can play with on this. So I took the tutorials and took the software, took the hardware, and started learning on my own. And this is why I said I'm an accidental colorist. I was supposed to be overseeing people doing these things, but eventually I started doing it myself. And that was how my journey into being a colorist started. From those tutorials to practicing every day to where I am today.
How long did it take you to get to a point where you were comfortable that, okay, you can start getting projects from, like those guys that you ask the questions like, okay, guys, we're ready. You guys should start sending in projects if you need color grading.
I don't think you ever get to that point. I don't think you ever get to that point where you become comfortable.
Okay.
I always say that you keep learning every day. I am learning every day. I still have tutorials to watch today. I still have materials to read today. I still have to update myself on version 17.4 that just came out.
Yeah.
So you are constantly learning. Yeah, you get to a point where you can basically say, now I can make this a business, but you are everly learning. So what gave me the confidence was we did a project for Google Digital Skills Africa.
Okay.
Those videos you see in the Google Digital Skills Africa's platform where they are teaching you about digital skills. The videos are still there. We did 89 videos. They have more videos there now, but the original videos that were there,
ones.
we did 89 videos for them, and I graded those videos. And the interesting thing about that work was that they wanted to go and do those digital skills videos in UK.
Okay.
they wanted to just fly in the two actors that we used, the male and female actors. We used a Nigerian and a Kenyan.
Okay.
Because it was the entire Africa that's supposed to consume the content. So they just wanted to fly them into somewhere in UK where they did the UK version of the digital skills video. But we told them that we could do it when they brought it to us, and then they told the company that did the UK one to send pictures of the sets, the look and feel and everything. And then we created the set, sent back pictures, and then they were now worried, okay, when you even shoot it, maybe we should do the post.
The post,
in UK then, since you're able to achieve the set and you could bring in the actors. And then we brought in the actors, did samples, and then sent back. And when it was accepted, then I realized that okay, if this thing could pass Google and pass UK, then I could say I can start grading commercially.
This was which year?
This would be 2014 or 2015.
Okay.
No, or maybe 2016. I can't remember exactly. If I check my Instagram,
okay,
because I shared stills of the digital skills video.
Okay.
So if I see the year, then I'll be able to remember what particular year it happened.
Yeah. Okay. At this time, you weren't working on your own.
No, it wasn't.
So, but when did you start working on your own?
2019, late 2019.
Okay, 2019. So this was a decision that you made by yourself?
Yeah.
That you wanted to start doing this on your own? Okay. One thing that I've noticed when I was going through your Instagram is that you're mostly driven towards like narrative pieces, like, you know, movies, series, documentaries, and even some music videos as well. But you rarely do work on commercials. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just based on what I see on your Instagram. So now the question I have here is, did you choose narrative pieces or narrative pieces chose you? That's the question I want to ask.
No,
very funny question.
I do everything.
Okay,
I do everything. I've done a couple of commercials.
Okay.
Most of them are not even on my Instagram.
On your Instagram,
because they are commercials. Most times they are for agencies, and you just don't want to put them out there.
Okay.
Clients feel agencies did everything, so let it
just be that
let
way.
it be that way. So I do commercials.
Okay.
But narratives chose me. People bring more narrative to me, but I do commercials. I think I've done more commercials than music videos.
Okay.
But you see music videos on my Instagram.
Yeah. When I was speaking to a VFX artist one time, I asked a question like, does a VFX artist have to be on set during the filming? So now when it comes to a colorist, is a colorist supposed to be on set as well to monitor like lighting and all those kinds of things that will make the grade easier?
There are colorists who work on set. They are Dailies Colorists. They call them Dailies Colorists.
Dailies Colorist.
Yes.
Okay.
Dailies simply means everything that is shot on a particular day on set. So they do the initial grade of those dailies.
Okay.
And the main colorist that will grade the film it happens mostly for series, but it also happens in films.
Okay.
But the main colorist that will grade the film or series will create lots that the Dailies colorist will apply to the shots. But also the job of the Dailies colorist is to be able to flag any inconsistency in shots and be able to flag if there is underexposure, if there is overexposure, if there are going to be clips that will have terrible issues when the actual grading is going to happen. It's also be able to flag if they are the theme of the film, the look and feel the director, cinematographer, and art director wanted to achieve. It's achievable with the kind of props they have on sets and all that, so that you don't want to have a very colorful film and then you shoot and then there isn't proper colors. So, or you don't want a film that is not colorful, but you have too many vibrant colors on set. So you see it on set before you leave the location, what you are close to what you're going to get
Okay.
when it is actually graded. So there are Dailies Colorists that work with DITs on set who are there to help manage the entire workflow so that you don't have clips that are unusable eventually when you're done shooting.
Okay, so most of the time now, these Dailies colorists are working with the chief colorist.
Yes.
Okay, so do they necessarily have to be in the same team, or they can be like hired separately from the colorist?
No, they can be hired separately from the colorist. It's just that the colorist and the Dailies colorist will have a whole lot of interaction, a whole lot of meeting, and then creating the show lots, and then how to implement it on set and all that. So they can be hired separately.
Okay, but then that would mean that after the production is complete, that's the end of the job for the Dailies colorist. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
So sometimes the lots that the Dailies colorist has used is what will be used through the editing process.
Okay.
But when the editing is done, then those lots will be disabled and everything back to its raw original form, and then before the colorist then comes and then great.
Okay, so now when they are choosing the color palette, now this discussion is done between the colorist and the art directors and director, or is it done between the colorist and the Dailies?
No, it's done between the director, the DP, the art director, and the colorist.
The colorist. Okay, so the Dailies is just giving the information when it's on set.
Yes.
To make sure that it's implemented.
Yes.
Oh, I see. So I think this is the first time I'm hearing anything called Dailies. I've never heard of the Dailies colorist in my life. So if you're watching this, please hit that like button if you learned something new. You mentioned it before that you chose Resolve as a coloring software.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you chose Resolve? Because I believe that nowadays people can achieve color with several of the NLEs available, like Premiere Pro and Final Cut. But why were you specifically drawn towards Resolve?
So back then when we had the workshop, most of the producers talked about Davinci Resolve.
Okay. And
when we went back, I did research on Davinci Resolve and found out that it's the biggest coloring tool in the world, followed by Baselight by Filmlight.
Okay. Yes.
And then Baselight was basically, or is still basically, a Mac-driven software.
Oh.
So since producers are used to Davinci Resolve, so it was a no-brainer to go in the direction of Blackmagic Davinci Resolve.
Okay. All right. So the next question I want to ask you is, at the time that you started the color grading professionally, I want to believe that, well, I don't know, but I'm going to ask, at the time, was it a profitable venture to go into? Because I remember at that time, I don't think the entertainment industry, apart from music was already going really far at the time, but at the time, the entertainment industry wasn't, operating with like big budgets and all that. So was it a profitable venture to enter at the time that you started color grading?
My own issue is, or my own question is, what industry, what part of the entertainment industry, whatever profitable in this country? That's the truth. So if you're waiting for a line of business to become profitable before you go into it, then you're going to wait a very long time. We've not, as a nation, built the kind of economy that will make people creating or creators have good return for their money. And it's not rocket science, but we have people in power who do not even understand the simple science, not stuff. So the entertainment industry is huge, it's massive. It's supposed to be churning out, or it's supposed to be bringing into Nigeria billions of dollars every year. And like I always tell people, Nigeria is a very poor country, but we believe a lie that we're giants in Africa. We are giants by size, but we're a very poor country. If you know that one of 20 companies in America can buy Nigeria and there will be change. They can bankroll our budgets for 50 years and they won't blink. Why? Because they create products that they sell globally. Nollywood is a product that was supposed to be selling globally. and making dollar into the country so that our balance of trade can make sense, so that we will not be having $550 to 550 naira to $1. The reason we have 550 naira to $1 is because we don't make enough dollar into the country. We only sell crude oil. But we can make much more from entertainment if, like I said, those we put in the helm of affairs have a little inkling of what to do. It doesn't make sense for people to make a production and then not make over 200 million in the cinema. It doesn't make sense that we have states in this country that have no cinema
At all.
That
is unfortunate.
It doesn't make sense that we do not have structures that provide single-digit loans to create content and recoup over 5 years. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we do not have a recognizable body that promotes our content beyond the shores of Nigeria. Not promotes simply by trying to win an Oscar or marketing it. No, that promotes by actively becoming a platform where our content is being sold to the highest bidders. So there are templates of that everywhere in the world, including in Africa, countries that are moving fast in that direction. So if you're waiting for one skill to start making money before you go into it in Nigeria, you wait a long time. You just have to start and then hope to God. Like Will Smith said in the film Itch, he said, men leap and hope to God that they will fly. That's it.
Now that you've started doing this and consistently working on a lot of projects, you must have received a lot of different camera codecs that you've worked with in the past. Now, which one of them is the best that you've worked with and you always want to work with over and over? Which of these codecs is the one that you have the most fun with anytime you are color grading them, and why?
Okay, I'll answer this question two ways. Number one, there are codecs that are machine intensive.
Okay.
In the sense that when you're working on them, they need so much power. They take so much power of your workstation. And then there are codecs that are not. From that point of view, I'll say, okay, yeah, there are codecs that I like working on because they don't take too much. They are not so machine intensive.
Yeah.
And you could basically say Blackmagic, maybe because they built the software.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
You could say Blackmagic Raw, you could say Sony Raw.
Okay.
You could say Ari Raw, but you hardly find several productions using Ari Raw.
Okay.
Because of the size, the sheer size. Same with Red Raw, but Red Raw is machine intensive. Ari Raw is machine intensive. Canon is machine intensive. So in that aspect, if you're looking at it from that point of view, yes, those are the two. But if you're asking me that what kind of or what camera codecs I like working with in terms of what I can do to them creatively and all that,
okay,
I'll tell you that I tell people it's not the tool, it's the man. If you're a good cinematographer, any camera you can use any camera. It only matters when people want to start pixel checking.
Yeah, of course.
But the audience doesn't pixel check. They just want to see beautiful pictures. They want to enjoy the story. And you can achieve that beautiful picture with basically any of the digital cameras that exist today. Every one of them shoot 4K and above. So the truth of the matter is I have seen people shoot with Ari, and I'm wondering if they shot with Ari. So it's not the camera that will do the work for you. It's your skill on how to use the camera. So I tell people, if you don't have the budget to do Ari, get the budget to do what you can do, but get a good budget for the DP who will handle it, because it's basically the skill, it's not necessarily the camera. Like I always tell people, that's it.
So like the final question we'll ask in the creative side before we move to the business side is, like, if a colorist now wants to enter into color grading, and then what are there like system requirements that would at least get you started, okay, that will give you some good results for a long period of time before you want to like maybe go really bonkers. So what kind of recommendations?
Since majority of people shoot 4K these days, you will need a system that can undo the work. So a 32 gig RAM.
Okay.
And
take notes.
And 8 gig graphics RAM.
Graphics. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, will be a good starting point.
Oh.
So that you can be able to, like I said, everybody's shooting 4K now. So.
Okay. And then there's also one thing that I've not really understood yet about screens, like your displays for your laptop. They always saying things about like sRGB, Adobe RGB, all those kinds of things. So which one is good to get if you want? Because they're always saying something like 70%. I don't understand all those percentages. But there is one that you know that, okay, from this percentage upwards is good for color grading. Like if you want to use it for color grading, this is the kind of laptop you should get. So what kind of screen type?
If you are starting, you can invest in color grading monitors. They're very expensive, but you can start with a screen that is sRGB 99% or 95%.
95. Okay.
The least. The screen is very important, but also your skill in using your scopes in Resolve is also very, very important. If you don't understand your scopes, your screen will help you to a certain level, but it won't solve your problem. So you must understand the scopes very well. And then if you have sRGB 95% and above, you most definitely see laptops with 99% sRGB.
Okay.
What they might not have is 95% DCI. And like I tell people, when you are grading, test on multiple screens.
Okay.
So you have your system monitor, you have your phone. There's a generation right now who is consuming everything on their phone.
Facts.
So if you can make it look good on their phone, you have solved 80% of your problem. They don't care what anybody is saying anywhere else. They'll tell you it's a fantastic film, it's a fantastic music video. So check on your phones when you're grading.
Alright, so now we're going to move from the creative side a little bit into the business side of color grading. When you started, I can't really say that you started as a hobby, because most of the time people start all these things, all these creative journeys as like hobbies before they now make that switch into a business. Still though, you were still at the process of learning it before you now switched it into a business, especially when you now went on your own. What are the things you started doing differently from when you initially started?
I don't think there's anything I was doing differently.
Okay.
It has always been a business for me. Like I said, I was creative director there.
Okay. Yeah.
So it has always been a business for me. Learning it was to solve a problem. So problem of people taking jobs to SA, to grade, to UK, to grade, when it should be done here. And since it's a software, it could be learned. And that was why I learned it, and then later got trained in the UK by Blackmagic to become a certified trainer. So it has always been a business.
So why did you take that route to become a certified trainer? What was the reason you did that?
Let me say, I think it's preparation meeting opportunity meeting preparation.
Okay.
Because we invested in the console, and when we wanted to buy the console, I reached out to Blackmagic, and then they directed us to B&H and all that. Okay. We bought the console from B&H in New York. So I had the link with the Blackmagic guys. So when Blackmagic rolled out the training part of their business for Davinci Resolve, when they wanted to now have a proper training channel, so I saw it, and then we got talking, and they were like, there isn't any trainers in Africa.
Wow.
So they invited me to come to UK for training the trainer. So that was where I met a South African who was also the first South African to be a trainer. So we were both trained together by Blackmagic at the same time in Seoul, in London.
And you both were the only people from Africa that you trained at the time?
Yes, and I was the youngest. I met people who had been grading for 24 years. I still have the pictures in my Instagram. I met a man with all grey hair. He has been grading for 24 years. Some of the trainers were teaching the trainer. No, not really teaching the trainer. They were pointing out things that were not in the manual, and the trainer was taking notes.
Oh, wow.
And that's one of the things I like about Blackmagic. The notes and feedback that trainers send into Blackmagic. Before you see 2 updates, you will see it implemented. Yeah, you see it implemented. So it was interesting, that class. I was just there looking. Black man from Africa. I was only black. The guy from South Africa was white. So
wow.
And then all these people have been grading for years, arguing about the difference between 444 and 422. Then I understood that those numbers are not just numbers.
They're just numbers. Okay. But we're talking about ProRes, yes?
Not really ProRes alone.
Bit depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 444 simply means all the colors, the 3 colors RGB have equal numbers.
Oh.
In that shot. 422 means red is 4. The rest are 2.
Okay, then 420.
So. All right.
Jesus.
I thought we were just playing with numbers with this thing. And that was also interesting. Years later, when Blackmagic now released Color Science 5,
okay,
and did a new color ratio that had not been done before in the Blackmagic Raw, it became a big deal in the industry, because the industry had always been using one single color ratio.
Okay.
So when Blackmagic released that, it was a game changer, and then they now released their 12K camera.
It was I mean those
there are people dedicated to the science of color, writing softwares, writing documentation. People the likes of Blackmagic commissioned to create documentation for them to create their color science and evolve this color science over time. Same with people like the academy. There are color scientists who sit to determine these things, to plot what ACEs should be and how that workflow should be end to end. So when I became a member of Colorist Society, I realized the role of color scientists.
There is this question now that people have. In fact, a friend of mine called me one day and asked me, because he's an editor, he's not even a colorist, and he said someone just called him now that you need to edit. How do I charge a client?